What's happening, peeps? Got a huge one for you. This is a fantastic sipper, a great dram, and it's just one of those whiskeys that you try and it just blows you away. You just fall in love with it right when you open it. Up until the last sip, it just gets even better. This is one of those whiskeys. I had heard great things about this whiskey for a while, and I have been searching for this baby for such a long time. I just so happened to find it on the shelf of one of the whiskey stores that I frequent. I was in disbelief when I saw it, and I just had to have it. This is my review of the Longmorn 16. New recipe. So Longmorn Distillery was founded by John Duff in 1893. He had previously founded the Glenlossie Distillery and later on would become the founder of the Benriach Distillery. Longmorn was actually a huge component in different blended whiskeys, and then Longmorn has continued to distill and mature their whiskey in the same exact way it did more than a century ago, which is very interesting. This is a single malt scotch, and most of the barley that is used is actually locally sourced. It is twice distilled through copper pot stills, which is still heated by coal flames instead of the modern day steam heated stills. And due to this uneven heating production from the coal flames, it is one of the reasons why Longmorn is so unique in its flavor and texture and aromas. The age statement on the bottle is 16 years, so keep in mind the youngest whiskey that they use in this bottle is 16 years. It can go above and beyond, and is kind of something I'm going to get into on why the recipe changed. This whiskey is known as a distiller's whiskey. This is what a lot of people will always have on their shelves if they know anything about whiskey. It is a true gem, a dime of a Speyside single malt scotch. This is the most complex Speyside scotch I have ever had. So kind of getting a little more into what I was talking about before about the new recipe versus the old recipe. So the older recipe actually got discontinued. The older recipe was in a more brown-green container, where the new recipe is in a purple container. So why did they even change the recipe? This is pure speculation, but so Longmorn ramped up their production, and in doing so, I assume they were forced to change the recipe. So basically what I'm saying is this is a single malt scotch whiskey, 16 years old. So the youngest whiskey is 16 years old. It doesn't have the maximum age that they use in the bottle. And what I assume is the old recipe used higher age statement whiskeys to create the flavor and aroma profile that they were going for. So when you ramp up production, those much higher age statement whiskeys are a little less available. So that's kind of what I assume what happened and why they had to change their recipe. Keep in mind that the job of the master blender at the distillery is to try and get as close as possible to the original recipe in terms of flavor and aroma and texture and whatnot. So if you can actually taste test the older recipe versus the new recipe, I'm sure the newer recipe is very close to the original. I know there are probably some nuances that some people can kind of pick up on that still come through, but for the most part, they're probably very similar. Alright, today we're going to be reviewing Longmorn 16. This is a single malt scotch whiskey, non-chill filter. It is a Speyside single malt scotch. This single malt is matured in 3 types of oak cask for a rich and complex flavor. Let's find out how complex. Alright, we're going to start with the nose. Ooh. Damn, that nose is impressive. Huge aroma of fruitiness, lemon zest, a little bit of apple, maybe a little bit banana. A nice, complex, rich honey and toasted walnut. Hidden behind, you get a little bit of the oak. Kind of reminds me of opening a cigar box. That kind of smell that just explodes in your face. It smells very rich and full. There's a lot happening in this glass. And I can't wait to dig in. Let's take the first sip. Ooh, you get hit with the cereal malty flavors right off the bat. All the candied fruit and lemon zest follow through from the nose. But then something interesting happens. I'm going to need a second sip for that. It's very oily, it coats your mouth. What is that? I'm going to have to go back again. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, that is a journey right there. There are very few whiskeys that actually take me on an adventure like that. Holy crap. Wow. Like when you let it sit in your mouth, it doesn't feel like much. It feels oily, maybe a slight sweetness to it. But right when you swallow, you do get hit with all the fruitiness and maltiness that I would expect from a Speyside single malt scotch. But then, yeah, it, like in an instant, it spikes just into a oily, oaky wood spice. And it happens in like an instant. And it just like fades away. Wow. If you come by LONGMORN 16, highly recommend it. It is a journey worth taking. Let's see, empty glass. Ooh, it's very different on the nose. Wow, in the empty glass, you get an unbelievable amount of wood. Very oily, woody notes. This actually reminds me of peated whiskeys. When you finish the glass and it's just empty, that oily peat is just left over. And that's kind of what it's reminding me of right now. I would not have expected this from a Speyside or a Highland single malt scotch. I will say this is probably in my top 5 whiskeys of all time. Highly recommend it. Again, this is a whiskey that just takes you on a journey. It sticks with you for a while, and once you put it away, you'll be thinking about it again. You're going to be thinking about it for a long time. I'm thinking about it right now. I could go for another dram. It is that damn good. This is a gift to the world. A magnificent whiskey that I highly recommend you try if you get the chance. There are a few whiskeys that give me a surprise on how good it is, and this is one of them. If I ever see this on the shelf, it's an immediate buy. There's no debate. There's not something where I go home, think about it, and maybe grab it later on in the week or something kind of whiskey. This is a gourmet, eat every last little piece of chicken off the bone, and then use that bone for bone broth later kind of whiskey. This is a whiskey that everybody can love, and I mean everybody. It is damn fine. I give this whiskey a bacon cheddar chicken wing rating. It is that damn good. So that's going to do it, peeps. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. It's going to help you not miss any reviews, and it's going to help me very much. This is something that I want to continue to do, and some content that I want to continue giving you guys. I love drinking whiskey, and I love talking about drinking whiskey. And make sure you guys comment down below if you guys are more into certain types of beer, certain types of tequila, vodka, whatever. I'll drink it, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Eva! Holy crap! Alright guys, may the roof above us never fall in, and we friends beneath never fall out. Sláinte.